Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is June 17th, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully, you're having a good Tuesday, a good Tuesday, if you will. My day has been good overall. I will say I've had some, I don't know, I want to say like communication hiccups, just like some flare ups, if you will. These things happen, but I feel like my mentality and how I'm handling them today has been good. I've been like just a bus. I've just been like, nah, you're not on my route, you're not on my stop, and I just kind of been keeping it moving if people on some bullshit. I'm not with it today. I don't need it. I'm trying to be positive, okay? I'm trying to be as happy as I can be. Another thing that I'm hanging my hat on that is like kind of making my day bring a smile to my face was I was on my little Snapchat, and I got like one of those flashback notifications, and it showed me a picture of myself, like one of my little full body selfies, and I was coming, I think probably home from Northside or something like that, and I had a picture from last year, and I looked at it, and this was the first time I've seen a photo of myself, like a full body, that made me go, oh wow, like I do look different. And so I went and I snapped a picture like now, and then posted that, and it just felt good. I thought I was gonna do something like that around September, but like finally seeing like an actual photo to compare just really brought it home for me in a way. So I was really happy for that. I felt like once I kind of got that, I was like, nah, I'm on star power. Nothing you can say. Get out of my way. Move. But no, overall today has been good. Work was good. No complaints. We got in and out. The gym was solid. Another busy day, but I got all the equipment I wanted to get on. Felt like it was a good pump. Even like in a way kind of added a couple more sets. So that was good. And also it's weird. Sometimes I will go through and get through all of my routine, like my whole like lifting session, and then look at the clock and I just have more time. Like I'm just like, I don't know how I did that. I don't know, I'm on some Doctor Who shit today or something. I don't know. I made it work. I got timey-wimey with it. But was able to get through my whole, weight training and cardio, and had a little bit of time to spare. So that was good. We love that. So today's been overall good. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to stay positive, y'all. I feel like last week I was in a negative zone, and I'm like, nah, I'm not taking that shit with me. We are being positive. And even on like the bad conversations, I tried to I tried to make the most of them. Sometimes I do have to just say like, nope, I'm leaving you on red. Nope, I'm not opening the message. I'm done. You're annexed. Other times it's like, no, I do care about this. I do care about this person or this thing or whatever. So I'm gonna try to do my best to like make it work, right? I think like you want to get, good communication, good conflict resolution, and do the best you can. But sometimes motherfuckers just don't want to play ball. So what do you do in those situations, right? It just is what it is. I know I'm being very vague and things like that, but that's how you gotta do. That's how you gotta do it in my line of work. But yeah, that's me. That's been my day. Overall, it's been a good one. I'm marking it as good. Check. But if you hear my anger or anything like that spike, you hear me on some slick shit, you understand. It's charged up. Anyway, let's go ahead and do our startup, and let's go ahead and get into some news. Motherfuckers really gotta stop playing with me. Y'all gotta stop playing with me, y'all. Like I ain't ready to crash out, bro. Like, come on now. Let's just not do that. I'm trying to be peaceful. I'm trying to be the shepherd, man. Goddamn. Anyway. But also, shout out to the lovely people. Shout out to the people that I did talk to today that brightened my day, that were positive, that were good, that had a good rapport with me. Thank you. Kiss on your forehead. I love you. A lot of times I talk sour grapes more than I give flowers, and that is on me. Anyway, let's talk about some shit from NBC News. Israeli forces kill dozens of Palestinians seeking aid in Gaza, health officials say. Dozens of Palestinians were killed as they sought food in Gaza on Tuesday, according to local health officials, in what appeared to be the deadliest single incident so far since a U.S. and Israeli backed organization replaced established aid groups in the shattered enclave. Dr. Marwan Al-Hams, the director of field hospitals in Gaza, told NBC News that Palestinians were attacked by Israeli forces as they waited to collect aid near Al-Taliya. I'm sure I'm getting that wrong, but in the area of Han Yunis on Tuesday. This is one of the most difficult days I've seen, he said, adding that he feared that the death toll will rise further. Israeli Defense Forces of the IDF said in a statement that a gathering had been identified near an aid distribution truck that got stuck in the area of Han Yunis and in proximity to IDF troops operating in the area. It said the IDF was aware of reports regarding a number of injured individuals from IDF fire following the crowd's approach and said the details were under review. The IDF regrets any harm to uninvolved individuals. That is the most remorse I've heard, like, out of this whole Gaza humanitarian fund bullshit that, like, has involved the IDF just slaying people who are trying to get fucking food. That is the most remorse I've heard in a statement since this specific, like, certain part of it has started and been going on, which is not much. So yeah, I mean, if this sounds like deja vu, if this sounds like something we've covered before, oh, are you getting this mixed up with another thing? No, like, this has been happening every fucking day. The only thing that's really changed is the fact that Israel has ramped up their conflict with Iran, so that kind of takes top billing in the conversation in the media. The situation back on the ground in Gaza is just less than by comparison. And the same thing happens with the West Bank, even more so, where it's just like, once again, there are atrocities happening all over the Middle East, and you can run that shit all the way to the source, which is Israel, which is the U.S., and, you kind of just have to do your best to cover. I mean, another example, too, is Lebanon, where there have been strikes. There have been people being killed. The whole point of this was to be like, hey, we have a ceasefire. We have some peace now. And now we can start doing some rebuilding. Nope. Not if the IDF has anything to say about that. They're like, nah, we're going to keep bombing because at the end of the day, we think you're, Hezbollah. So, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about this, but there are days that I miss, and in those days, people are dying. I always want to make sure that is not lost on my audience. It's frustrating. It's infuriating. It's infuriating, that we're going to come back to this shit again and again and again and again. Just because, I mean, at the end of the day, Israel's not changing. At the end of the day, the U.S. is not changing. That they are moving in lockstep on this fucking shit. So yeah. I'm going to go ahead and, I mean, there's more details. There's more testimonials in the story and whatnot. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the next story from ABC News. Stabbing of 2 court security officers at Manhattan courthouse was calculated attack. The man who allegedly stabbed 2 court security officers as they screened people... Sorry, I got a little burp coming. There you go. As they screened people at the metal detectors at the Manhattan criminal courthouse was carrying out a planned and calculated attack that would have been worse had the weapon not been curved, prosecutors said. Jonathan Wohl made his initial appearance on Tuesday in the same courthouse where he allegedly charged the officers with a folding knife on Monday. He also allegedly carried handwritten papers that prosecutors said expressed animosity towards the court system. Wohl is charged with 2 counts of attempted murder, 3 counts of attempted aggravated assault upon a police officer, and 2 counts of assault. He did not enter a plea, and the judge remanded him into custody. Wohl has a history of problematic interactions with court security officers over the last 2 years. But at the time of the attack, Wohl had no pending cases at Manhattan Criminal Court. Wohl allegedly charged the metal detectors on Monday morning with his folding knife open and ready inside his bag, according to the criminal complaint. He allegedly slashed the first officer at least twice, cutting both sides of the officer's face. Another officer tried to shield himself with a tray, but Wall allegedly slashed him twice, causing a laceration to the officer's face and a puncture wound to the side of his neck that required stitches. After 5 hard downward stabs, prosecutors said another court officer tackled Wall, who continued to struggle with the knife, stabbing a third officer in the back of his vest and trying to use the knife against other officers who were subduing him. During the struggle, one sergeant's ribs were broken and another officer sustained bruising. All 5 injured officers have since been released from the hospital. The officers' injuries would have almost certainly been worse or even fatal, if not their vests and if not for the fact that the blade was curved, prosecutors said. Now, according to the prosecutors, Wall had a notebook containing the messages, "Give me liberty or give me death," and "Protect Rodney Hinton." Rodney Hinton is an Ohio man who is charged with fatally striking a police officer with his car in retaliation for his own son's death in a police shooting. Now, do I think that writing this down and maybe doing these acts is going to really, help that or really spread any kind of positive awareness? No, I personally don't. I also don't think I mean, you can say, well, yes, it's calculated or whatever, but this just feels like an impulsive act. In terms of saying, hey, I'm going to bring a knife and just start slashing at, security. Like, I don't know. Like, this isn't the Tea Party I feel like you think you're trying to start. But, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. I was surprised to see this connection here with the Rodney Hinton thing. But, there it is. I'm trying to think. I was actually, like, this case was playing on the news when I was at work. And, obviously it's really sad. It's really unfortunate. But, yeah, I had a moment where I was actually sitting with a coworker for a change. I wasn't just sitting by myself. And I got to, kind of talk about it. And, it's one of those things where it's sad. And I was at least glad that I was with, like, a like-minded individual in the sense where it's like, hey, we're both people of color. So we can understand, how fucked up and unfortunate this is. You can at least have some goddamn sympathy here on why a person who would be pushed to doing that when you see video footage of a police officer, killing your kid. And then you can get into the details and blah, 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 he's a criminal, blah, 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 blah. By all means, if you want to do that, talk to yourself. But it's just one of those things where I was at least glad in that moment to kind of talk to somebody about this kind of news, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, kind of going back to the story, it's unfortunate because once again, this doesn't do anything. Like, this doesn't make Wall's situation any better. It doesn't make Hinton's situation any better. It doesn't change the conversation in terms of the ills and the problems of this goddamn court system, which I would agree with Wall is fucked up and needs to be better. Of fucking course I do. But once again, taking your fucking folding knife and going in and doing some shit, doing some pokey doesn't change the goddamn conversation. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. So, let's move on. We got another story. We got a couple of protest stories, but we're not talking no kings. We're talking no more tourists. More like that. From CBS News. Protesters in Spain shoot water guns at tourists in demonstration against mass tourism, housing costs. Residents in Spain and several other popular destinations in Europe protested against mass tourism Sunday, saying a flood of summer visitors is driving up housing costs in their cities and pushing out locals. Some of the protesters in Barcelona and on the Spanish island of Mallorca, I think it is pronounced Mallorca, sprayed tourists with water guns. Now, maybe throughout this article, you're going to hear me flare the fuck up about this stupid fucking water gun bullshit. Because it is it doesn't do anything in my mind in terms of helping your point. It just feels very childish. It's a very childish, angsty thing that you're doing here. By I'm gonna spray the tourists with water and tell them to get out. We don't want you. Oh, okay, man. You really fix the problem. But at the end of the day, I do want to stress that I'm with the protesters here at the heart of the goddamn matter, that you have a problem here. And there needs to be something done about saying, hey, the focus of our country should just be milking tourists. No, it should be about making sure that the citizens have what they need. And yes, tourism provides money. It provides income or, for the country, whatever. But at the end of the day, that income should not be at the cost of its citizens, of fucking course. So I'm with the people on that. But there is a subset of people who, like I said, throughout this whole fucking thing, are running around with fucking water guns and super soakers and just hitting motherfuckers up. And I don't get that. And it's not doing anything. It's pretty harmless or whatever. But I just put myself in the shoes of someone who's like, you know, on a trip or something, and I would want to throw hands. It would make me livid. Like, motherfucker, I'm blowing my money here. I don't even think I really want to be here. Y'all know me. I'm not a tourist. I'm pretty sure I've had like similar conversations about this shit where I know, like, this is part of now my baked in argument. I'm like, people do not want me to come to their country. Okay? I don't want to go to their country for real, if I'm being honest. It's a whole rigmarole to even do. So, like, you know what? I'll stay here. They can stay there. Everyone's happy. Okay? Awesome. Anyway, I'm already in the weeds just talking my shit. Let me get back to the article. The protests were part of the first coordinated effort by activists concerned with the ills of over-tourism across Southern Europe's top destinations. While several thousands rallied in Mallorca in the biggest gathering of the day, hundreds more gathered in other Spanish cities, as well as in Venice, Italy, and Portugal's capital, Lisbon. Lisbon? I think it's Lisbon. I don't know why I added a D there. The squirt guns are to bother the tourists a bit, Andrew Martinez said in Barcelona with a chuckle after spritzing a couple seated at an outdoor cafe. Barcelona has been handed to the tourists. This is a fight to give Barcelona back to the residents. Like, motherfucker, you are not him. You're not a fucking freedom fighter with this goddamn squirt gun. You're a loser. You're a fucking loser. I'm sorry, dude. Like, once again, boo that man. Boo that person. Like, once again, I'm with the people as a whole here, but if you're running around on some fucking hamburger ass fucking shenanigans, I ain't with you on that. That's lame. You're a fucking loser. Sorry. Martinez, a 42-year-old administrative assistant, is one of a growing number of residents who are convinced that tourism has gone too far in the city of 1.7 million people. Barcelona hosted 15.5 million visitors last year, eager to see Antoni Gaudi's La Sagrada Familia Basilica and the Las Ramblas Promenade. Martinez says his rent has risen over 30% as more apartments in his neighborhood are rented to tourists for short-term stays. He says there is a knock-on effect of traditional stores being replaced by businesses catering to tourists, like souvenir shops, burger joints, and bubble tea spots. See, that's for the hamburger thing. I didn't just throw that out there. Maybe I did, whatever. Our lives as lifelong residents of Barcelona are coming to an end, he said. We are being pushed out systematically. So obviously that part I'm fucking against, dude. Like, at the end of the day, that same shit is happening in the States. Like, New York is having a very similar issue where it's just like, yeah, we have so many people, we have so many Airbnbs and shit. We don't need that. Like, you have plenty of hotels and other options you could go to if you're a fucking tourist. You don't need to have an Airbnb and like knock me out of a fucking apartment that I could, you know, rent or whatever, a place that I could stay or, you know, own, whatever. You know what I mean? I actually want to live in this place, and you're just renting it out to person to person to person. And shit, I even see that in a local sense. When I go down to like North Side, you can probably see it in downtown where you have these little, you know, makeshift wannabe landlords and shit. And I get it. At the end of the day, you're just trying to make your goddamn buck, and you're willing to become this like baby worm person. You're going to become a little baby landlord. It's a gross way of being in my mind, but I mean, I get it. You're a middle-class American trying to make a buck. This is an international problem, right? Like, so I'm saying this to say that I get it. I understand. But I never saw anybody in goddamn America run around a goddamn squirt gun trying to fucking say some shit about it. No, you go to your lawmakers, you go to your fucking politicians, and you try to make change that way. And they are. I think overall that push is being made. But I will say that there's at least some of the tourists, from what I've heard, that are kind of taking this in stride. They're taking it on the chin. I'm, you know, kind of scrolling ahead a little bit, but like, you know, one person was just like, oh, getting sprayed. And they're like, it's okay. It's actually really hot anyway, so it's fine. You know, I get why they're upset. You know, they have probably like ample reason to be. So, you know, at least they get it. They understand, and they're not letting that ruin their trip or whatever. And I think it also, in this article, it's worth noting that Spain has tried to, let's see, here we go. Yeah, last month, Spain's government ordered Airbnb to remove almost 66,000 holiday rentals from the platform that it said had violated local rules. And once again, kind of making the comparison to New York, New York has also kind of like made similar strides to kind of constrict, regulate Airbnb a little bit more so that they're not as rampant. But that being said, you're not fully fixing the problem here. You're still having an infrastructure issue at play here that you really don't want to remedy. At the end of the day, like the guy said, you're still putting in burger joints, you're still putting in boba tea shops and all that. You're still pushing out the people, raising their rent beyond what they can fucking afford. So that's not good. You need to have better infrastructure. You need to have these things addressed instead of doing money grab, money grab, money grab, money grab, money grab. You know what I'm saying? So in that regard, once again, going back up to the top, yes, we understand, we feel that mass tourism is an issue. It's a problem. But also, at the end of the day, if you're lawmakers, as a face, you are advertising your place, say, hey, come hither, come. People are gonna come. Like, you know, it's Field of Dream shit. I don't make the goddamn rules. I'm not Kevin Costner, but he told us the game plan. I don't know what to tell you. Okay? That's just how this works. I hope to live in a better time where we actually do have better infrastructure, not just in America, not just in Spain, but internationally, all over the goddamn world, because we all deserve a place to live. We all deserve to be able to, like, have a job and work, you know, a normal fucking day and not have 2 or 3 of them motherfuckers, not have to be some fucking side landlord rat king. Like, just one job and just do that and just be cool. Like, we all deserve some shit like that in my mind. I don't feel like that's crazy. I don't feel like that's out of pocket. I don't feel like it's even goddamn revolutionary. But here we are, 2025. I told y'all I was gonna get hot. I told y'all, okay? Look, the shirt is already off. I know y'all can't see that. This is an audio medium, thank God. But, you know, we're already sweating a little bit, okay? Anyway, we have some more on this, you know, anti-tourism kick from the Associated Press. This one, I have less beef. There's 0 squirt guns. I love that. I'm coming down now. Yes, from the Associated Press, the world's most visited museum shuts down with staff sounding the alarm on mass tourism. The Louvre, which I'm going to say that in weird, bad, wrong ways the whole time, so just sorry. Mea culpa. The Louvre, the world's most visited museum and a global symbol of art, beauty, and endurance, has withstood war, terror, and pandemic, but on Monday, it was brought to a halt by its own striking staff, who say the institution is crumbling under the weight of mass tourism. Looking at the Louvre, don't get me wrong, I mean, I get it. It looks cool. We like a little glass pyramid situation, but I mean, don't we have that shit in Vegas? Like, we got that Bass Pro thing, right? I mean, it's like the same thing. Sorry. Oops, my bad. Anyway, controversial drama. It was almost an unthinkable sight. The home to works by Leonardo da Vinci and millennia of civilization's greatest treasures, paralyzed by the very people tasked with welcoming the world to its galleries. Thousands of stranded and confused visitors, tickets in hand, were corralled into unmoving lines by I Am Pai's glass pyramid. It's the Mona Lisa moan out here, said Kevin Ward, 62, from Milwaukee, aka my fucking goat, aka my G, because that is the quote. It's the Mona Lisa moan out here. Bruh, call that man Neo. He was born to say that shit. He was chosen. Thousands of people waiting, no communication, no explanation. I guess she needs a day off. You know he's a dad. You know this guy's probably a granddad. I hope so. Mr. Ward, I salute you. Oh my gosh. Like, I rarely give enough flowers to just random guys you or whoever you hear in an article. But man, he hit me where I live. It's the Mona Lisa moan out here. Y'all, I would be laughing harder, but I literally was like gut busted beforehand. I already got it out of my system. But love that guy. I'm bowing down. You're the GOAT. Thank you. The Louvre has become a symbol of tourism pushed to its limits, as hotspots from Venice to the Acropolis, whatever, race to curb crowds. The world's most iconic museum, visited by millions, is hitting a breaking point of its own. So yeah, I mean, they reference the anti-tourism sweeping across Southern Europe, yada, yada, yada. We talked about that. I'd say with the Louvre, it has the added problem of needing a lot of upkeep, has a lot of maintenance issues that it needs to undergo that is kind of being dragged. It's being talked about like, oh, we're going to do better with that, da, 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 da. But yet, we're, I think Macron has said like 6 year plan. And motherfuckers like staff are like, no, we need stuff implemented now. You guys need to get on this now. And not to mention, we are packed to the gills. There was a person, I think, said he was from South Korea, and he's like, you go and it's so hot, you're elbow to elbow. There's so many people, you can't even see the thing you're trying to see. Like, you can't even see the Mona Lisa. But, at least they got to go in for the day. You know what I mean? Once again, putting myself in these people's shoes, I cannot imagine I fucking get my fucking ass all the way to goddamn Gay Paris, and ticket in hand, I'm gonna see fucking Mona Lisa smile, and I'm out here standing with my fucking shit in hand. Nah. I would be upset. Now, I think for some people, they were able to get like return tickets or whatever. But imagine you don't have that chance. You might just be fucking shit out of luck. So I think that's kind of lame. I think that's kind of loser shit. But big but here. I'm with the people. I'm with the staff. They're sounding the alarm as hard as they can. I'm with Gay Paris on this protest. I want to make that clear. Yes, I'm talking a little shit, but at the end of the day, I fucking stand with the Louvre on this. I get the situation. You know what I mean? And once again, they didn't resort to squirting the people. They didn't do a 21 squirt salute. So they got me fully on that one, for sure. And like I said, I'm standing with both people on that, but just fuck that squirt gun shit. Stand down, soldier. Anywho, we have one more story that I really wanted to cover, sink my teeth into, and then I'll let you go. Let's take our last break, and we'll go ahead and close it out. I want to say another reason I was in a bit of a good mood is, once again, trusting the process. Maintenance has been going well for this week. How I said my back was just really, touched up. I mean, it was even affecting the pod a little bit. I kind of was just like, I need to end. Like my shit's, I'm hunched. I need to undo that and, fix I'm in pain. Anyway, today has been much better. So that's good. I really do love this program. And I say program reluctantly because it's not like an officially a program, but it's mine. And I think that that's really important. When it comes to like your fitness journey or whatever, putting that in quotations, you gotta find the things that work for you and build from there. As much as I would love to be like any of my, fitness, icons, like the Dr. Mikes of the world or the Jeff Nippards, got his name right this time, the Will Tennysons, I'm not these guys. I think that they're cool, or even fucking Larry Wheels, big man. But, I'm not them. I'll never be a Ronnie Coleman. But at the end of the day, I found the thing that I like in terms of like, I can get in, I can lift, I can do my thing, and I feel like I'm pushing myself every week. And that feels good. So yeah, that's been nice. I don't know why I felt the need to kind of say that, but here we are anyway. Ooh. All right. From Axios. Democrats who have been arrested, detained, or charged under Trump. All right. I felt like this would, I'm glad that the Axios, my favorite little pop-up news site, they did a roundup of this. There was a big one today. Brad Lander, NYC comptroller, mayoral candidate. He was arrested while visiting an immigration court. He was trying to like walk this guy out while he was trying to get, like, while he was being detained. Like, essentially ICE was trying to make a move on him, and essentially he was like, nah, like, you're not gonna do that. And then they just said, fuck that, you're assaulting, an officer, we're arresting you. And I think he was released. I don't know if I know he was released, but I don't know if they're pressing charges. I think they're not as of now. But there's been some others that I've either lightly barely covered a little bit, or not at all. So I feel like we'll do a rundown on these, and then I'll give my 2 cents, because I feel like I need to, or should, whatever. Not that it matters, but that's the point of this fucking thing. So yeah, Brad Lander, that was June 17th, that's fresh. Alex Padilla, June 12th. He is a senator from California. Obviously, we're talking all Democrats or Democratic judges here. The Democratic senator forcibly removed from DHS press conference in Los Angeles. He was trying to confront Kristi Noem, the dog killer. And also, little side note, Kristi Noem went to the hospital today. Oh, it's her allergies. She has severe allergies. Anyway, good luck with that. Anyway, but he stood and was like trying to like talk to her, like interrupt her, and he made a move like forward, and they all kind of counted this as like, oh, he made an aggressive lunge at her. Anyway, that's how that's how like the agents were moving or whatever in the room. I don't know if it was actually ICE, but law enforcement, whoever was there, I can't remember. But essentially they forcibly took him down, or they forcibly took him out of the room, forced him to the ground. When I initially heard this, I think from ABC News, they said coerced him to the ground. I'm like, ooh, that's fancy language. You put him on the ground, you zip tied him for a second, and you put him down. And then they let him go. But he had announced while he was getting roughed up, I'm a senator. Like, I'm not just some random guy. And they tried to say, well, we didn't know who he was. We thought this was like, an attacker who was going to try to make a move and like hurt, Kristi Noem or whatever, we didn't know. So we acted quickly. No charges were pressed in that situation. Excuse me. LaMonica McIver. LaMonica McIver, like Bon Iver, right? Maybe. Representative from New Jersey, indicted for allegedly interfering with immigration officers, arrested at the same protest as Mayor Raz Baraka. They say indicted here, so there's some charges now pressed against her. Hannah Dugan, we've covered her a little bit. That was June 10th. I don't know if I said that with McIver. But with Dugan, May 13th, indicted for allegedly obstructing an immigrant arrest operation, arrested on April 25th. That's still an ongoing thing, but we've covered that. Essentially, guy was there for one charge. ICE agents were there to get him. She goes, oh, that's not happening on my watch. So she more or less says, hey, you can go and get out this way, we'll reconvene on this shit, I guess, or whatever. And she went out to confront them and like kind of more or less stall. And then last on this list, we have Ras Baraka, May 9th, arrested for protesting outside an ICE facility. So we have all these, guys and gals. They are getting active. It is a very noble thing that I would say that they're doing in terms of like the actual act. I think they're doing the right thing. You can argue, well, it's not legally the right thing. They're stopping law enforcement, or they're being disruptive, or they're getting disruptive to the point where they're like assaulting, law enforcement, whatever. However you want to cook it, that's your take. By all means, take it, have it, whatever. Put it on a wall. I'm with these people for trying to do the fucking right thing. I think my biggest fucking gripe, and I think especially it's very clear to me when it comes to like a guy like Lander, and I mean maybe I'm fucking wrong here, but it's like, dog, you're doing this shit for fucking points. It's hard for me to feel any other kind of way about this. And you could say the same with like Alex Padilla. You're standing up and you're being loud, and that's cool. But like, what are you guys doing when it comes like to like making real policy that actually like prevents this shit from fucking happening, or like making moves in a way so that we actually can have like, I don't know, like actual change. So that once again, this shit can be avoided. No, you guys sit on your shit, you sit on your dicks, and you don't do a damn thing. You twiddle your goddamn thumbs, and then maybe you post a couple tweets when shit gets dark, and you tell people how bad Donald Trump is. Like, to me, this is no different. So like, in some ways, Lander is being lambasted for like, you're just doing this to go viral. You're doing this fucking stunt. And like, in a way, I do agree with that. This is performative. I don't know if it's necessarily like, hey, I'm doing this because I actually give a fuck. Because once again, I don't think you would if you weren't running for like, mayor. Or for Medea, it's like, hey, I'm trying to fucking make sure I keep my seat for a midterm, and I don't have some fucking like, leftist crying about me not doing enough. Like, no, I got restrained by, Donald Trump's lackeys. Like, you can say that now. You earned that, I guess. So, I mean, once again, I do agree. I do think it's the right thing to do, to stand up and say, no, fuck this shit. Stop this shit. You can't do this. But it's just like with Cory Booker doing the fucking long blah, 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 blah. Cool, man. You broke a record, but like, you're just doing like, you're yapping. You're not changing anything. You're not stopping anything. So, like, what real good is it? I have to ask. So, I guess that's where I'll leave it. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I kind of wanted to catch them on the little Google News real quick? Um, no, I think we're good. We're gonna call it a day for the news. Um, if you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. That's a free action that helps out a lot. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts. Whatever platform you like to listen to. Leave a like. Leave a cool comment. Something positive. Something cool. Don't be a lame. Don't be a drag, okay? Put your fucking squirt gun away, okay? You know, and by squirt gun, I mean your little fucking little typey little Twitter fingers, okay? No, be cool. Be nice. I would love to see a nice little comment. Don't dislike. Hate that shit. I haven't had a dislike in a while, and I know if I get one anytime soon, it's because you listen to this episode, and I'll know, and I'll be upset. Bad juju for you if you do that. No, I don't really care. But yeah, sharing's caring. If you'd like, it's okay. We can just keep this our little treat, our little secret that you listen to this podcast and you listen to my dumbass yap and talk about food and, you know, try not to be so fat. No, that can just stay between us if you like. That's fine. No, I really do just appreciate you tuning in and just hanging out with me. Just giving me a little part of your day, allowing me to share a little bit of my day with you. It really does mean a lot. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.